All right, folks, this is going to be the first video for Note 73. We're going to do the very first question here, which is a little bit of a quadratic word problem. Notice I have it marked with an asterisk because I 100% know this is going to be a calculator question. All right, so here's the deal. We've got a ball. It's thrown upward vertically at initial speed of 96 feet per second. We have this equation right here, which gives the height of the ball after t seconds. So h of t, that function, is going to give it whatever this height is, h, after however many seconds. So after 1 second. So if I make t is equal to 1, let me zoom in here. So if I make t equal to 1 here and here, this function will tell me how high the ball is above the ground. So this is, of course, the equation we're going to work with. Now, I am going to make a slight change to it because I'm not a huge fan of the fact that the t squared is second. I know there's a reason for it because that gets the first piece positive. But when we're used to working with ax squared plus bx plus c, it might be helpful to put it in the right order. So h of t is equal to, now be super careful because this 16t squared, that's the one that's got the negative attached to it. So it's negative 16t squared and then plus 96t. And the reason I want to do this again is I like the fact that this is now in the right order. And it's also going to help us when we start looking for these maximums, right? We're looking for maximum height here. What time is the ball at its maximum height? So part A and part D, I'm actually going to do first. And so what I'm going to do for this is I want to find the vertex of that graph. And so if you remember, right, it's been a little while since we've done this, but to find the x value of the vertex, we do the opposite of b over 2a. And so this is another reason why I wanted this to be in the right format. So I know the a value is negative 16 and the b value is the 96. So the opposite of that 96 is going to be negative 96 over 2 times, and the a value is negative 16. All right, so I'm going to grab my calculator here. Give me my calculator. There's my calculator. Clear out whatever mess was in there. So this is going to be negative 96 over, 2 times 16, make it negative. That's negative 32. And then 96, make it negative, divided by 32, make it negative. That is going to be 3, okay? So here's the thing. When x is equal to 3, and I'm going to have to shrink this down a little bit, but we'll get there. I want to figure out, that's my time, right? That's the x value. That's the time, t seconds. I want to figure out the height. So this is where, let me slide this to the other side. Whoops, I don't want to do the whole thing. Slide this to the other side. What I'm going to do is then go into this equation and replace these t's with the number 3 that we just found. Okay, so 16 and 96. All right, go that way. All right, so, and I am going to do just a little shrink on this work that I did here to find the actual x value. Slide that up, give myself some space. Okay, so we have h of, helps if I actually write with a pen, h of 3 equals negative 16 t squared plus 96 times t. All right, now if you have a calculator that you can type this all in at once, awesome. If you need to do it in parts, that can work too. I'm going to see if I can do it all at once and see what happens here. So if I do that, where's my squared? There's my squared. And then plus 96 times 3. All right, I'm getting 144. All right, so 144. I do want to double check that, so give me just a sec. Whoops, no, I don't want to clear it. Clear. Okay, go away, clear. All right, so I do want to double check this just to make sure I'm not doing anything too totally weird. All right, so that's negative 144, and then 96 times 3 is that, plus the 144 that was negative. Yeah, it is still, okay. It did actually work out. I wanted to make sure this particular calculator does what I wanted it to do. All right, so we have this ordered pair now that says 3 and 144. One of these numbers is the maximum height, and one of these numbers, I know I circled up 3, it wasn't actually that, but one of these numbers is the maximum height, and one of these numbers is the time that the ball hits its maximum height. So if you think about the notation here, h of t, t is what we're putting into the function. Think about that as your input, and that is going to be your time. So at what time is the ball at its maximum height? This is going to be 3, everything is in seconds. So 3 seconds. All right, whoops, I actually want to work with a highlighter that works there. So there's my 3 seconds time. And at 3 seconds, your ball, there we go, is at a height of 144. Everything is in feet for this problem. So there is your maximum height. There is your time to reach the maximum height. All right. So part A and part D both use that vertex. Now part B, at what time does it reach 128 feet? I'm reading all kinds of backwards. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make our height this 128 feet. And then we're going to solve for t, because that's what we want to figure out as the time. All right, so give me my equation back here. I'll eventually zoom up. So height is, I want it to be 128 feet. And then I'm just going to write the rest of this equation. So negative 16t squared plus 96t. Okay. Not a huge fan of the fact that that t squared is negative. So I'm going to move both of these terms to the left side. That way t squared becomes positive and it's going to be much easier to work with. So 16t squared minus 96t plus 120 equals 0. Now I'm going to pull back my calculator because I kind of feel like all 3 of these numbers are divisible by 16. I know 16 is divisible by 16, but if I take 96 divided by 16, all right, that's 6. I'm gonna take a stab here. And all of these are divisible by 16. So last check here, 128 divided by 16. Good, fingers crossed it worked. Whoops, I'm just sending the screen moving. All right. Go, there we go. All right. So what we've got here is, right, we took this term divided by 16, we got t squared. We took this term divided by 16, we got negative 6t. We took this term divided by 16, we got 8. And folks, let's be honest, 0 divided by 16 is going to be 0. Now, these numbers, heck of a lot easier to deal with because, guys, that's factorable. All right. So t here. What's going to multiply to 8 but add up to negative 6? Negative 4 and negative 2. So that means t is equal to 4 and t is equal to 2. So at what time does it reach 128 feet? That's going to be 2, whoops, I don't know what I'm trying to write there. 2 seconds and, yes, that's my weird and sign, and 4 seconds. Folks, it's both times. All right, and it does make sense that you're going to get 2 answers here if you think about, I'm not going to draw this well in any way, shape, or form, but if you think about, okay, here's the ground, we've got this ball that's getting flung up into the air and coming back down, it's going to hit 128 feet going up, right? That's my 2 seconds, and then it's going to come back down, and it's going to hit 128 feet at 4 seconds. So you have both of those situations here. All right, so we've got 2 times that it hits 128 feet. And one more question is, when does the ball hit the ground? So this is, if we think about, right, the problem, I'm going back here. So this equation gives the height of the ball, right? Well, the height of the ball at the ground is 0. So what I'm asking you to do for part C is I'm actually asking you to find the zeros. So we've got 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 96t, and that's what I want to solve. Now, again, not a huge fan of having the t squared positive, so I'm just going to literally flip the whole equation around. I'm going to move these two pieces to the left, and then I'm going to move the 0 to the right. You don't have to. I just have a preference for having that t squared positive. So negative 96t equals 0. Now, I already showed you in the last problem that everything is divisible by 16. So to just kind of reinforce here, right, we can divide out the 16. So we've got t squared, and then as a reminder, 96 divided by 16 is 6. So minus 6t equals 0. I'll lose the calculator again. There we go. All right. Now, this again is also factorable, but it's going to factor differently because I'm going to look for a GCF here. So I'm going to take out that t minus 6 equals 0. So this is t is equal to 0, and then t minus 6 equals 0, which means t is equal to 6. I'm going to do a little shrinky dink on this because I realize I'm running way low into that other problem below it. All right, so you have two times. You have the initial time that the ball started, right? Time of 0. The ball started at the ground. It was launched upwards. And it says, when does the ball hit the ground? Well, it's going to be after 6 or at 6 seconds. Okay, let me make sure I'm writing with a pen here. So at 6 seconds. All right, that was a whole bunch of work here to deal with one little word problem. All right, but we are going to start dealing with these minimums and maximums. And there's going to be some small word problems, and I do say small, but understanding what parts of the problem you are looking for. I am absolutely going to go ahead and close out the video there for problem number 1. I will definitely come back and do some more videos for the rest of Note 73. As always, let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I'll see you in the next one.